Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to go over something that is not really talked about amongst the black community, trauma, signs of trauma. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is that these signs of trauma are ones that you may have not known is a part of knowing that you're dealing with some unaddressed or unresolved trauma. Now, one of them is fight or flight. We always feel unsettled, agitated, feel like maybe someone's out to get us, or we need to be on the move, or we need to go, and we're so awakened by that we just start losing it sometimes. Always feeling like you need to run, or even always feeling like you're frozen in fear. Certain things happen and you freeze up. Certain things happen and you don't even think twice about it, but you just go, 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 go. That is a flight or flight. One thing, another thing about this is chronic fatigue. There are tons of people who just, work a lot and get super tired because they work in 12 and 13 hours and pulling doubles and all of this other stuff. But when you are, working regular 9 to 5 or whatever the schedule is, or going to school or whatever the case may be, and you're getting your 6 to 8 hours of sleep and you're still extremely tired and you have chronic fatigue, that is your body letting you know you're not regulated properly. Your body is not regulating, you're crashing, and a lot of that crashing can be due to the fight or flight, that because you're so alert. Not saying that alertness is bad, but there is a fine line between just being alert and being on flight or flight all of the time. And that can lead to the chronic fatigue. That leads to you crashing and only having 1 to 2 hours of sleep, and then, you so want to move, or some people just be like, oh, that's just how I am, and, I could sleep for an hour or two and I'll be good. That's not healthy. Like, that's not how your body's supposed to work. Your body is supposed to work on a regimen, minimum 6 hours. Like, and if you're sleeping longer than that because of chronic fatigue, you sleeping all day and then you up all night, or you sleeping all night and then you up all day. Like, either way, like, sleeping too much, not sleeping enough, it wears down on you. That's a sign of trauma, and a lot of people don't know that. There are some people who have been through so much past trauma that they can't sleep. And as soon as they close their eyes, that's the only type of sleep that they get, but they don't sleep for long. That also plays into it. Another one is a sense of chronic pain. Now, this one is definitely something that I found very interesting. Now, mind you, I'm not a doctor, y'all. I've been through some stuff. I've had past trauma myself, but this is just a little bit of research that I did, and I also seen a video on this by an actual doctor. So I will actually link that below because she goes a little bit more in depth about it. Now, sense of chronic pain, back pain, shoulder pain, is, and it's like continuous. Like, for example, a woman with big boobs is gonna have back pain. Now, is it supposed to be on a continuous basis? Is it supposed to be every waking second of the day? No, it's not. They make bras big enough for us, and I say us because I'm one of them. They make bras big enough for us, and when we have those bras on, our backs don't hurt. When we take them off, our backs don't hurt immediately. But there are some people who have been through a trauma that either they're trying to forget, or some, may not completely remember everything. And certain things can trigger it. Like, you can hear a song and it'll make you feel depressed and get down on yourself, whatever the case may be. Now, when it comes to the chronic pain, you can be working out and then, your back hurts, and now you're like in a whole different state of mind because you're trying to figure out, like, why does this part of my back always hurt? Why is this always hurting? Why is my shoulder always, you know what I mean? So it's just different. And when you're having these chronic pains, where you're holding this, that's really where you're holding the stress. Is mental distress leads to physical distress. Now, when people say that, oh, it's all in your head, kind of. And I say kind of because mentally we are all, we all thinking about something mentally. And in the back of our heads, there are certain things that our body and our brains try to push out so that we don't remember that traumatic trauma. It's been proven that, you can go through a really bad traumatic trauma and not remember it. Not because you have brain damage or anything, but because your body wasn't ready for none of that. Your mind wasn't ready for none of that. And the way your body protects you is by pushing that way, way in the back of your head. It's not in the forefront. You don't think about it every day. It could be something that, like, could be a song. Like I said, it could be a song that plays that makes you think about something, or whatever the case may be. Everybody's different. It could be a TV show. It could be anything. You could be walking and somebody could look like someone else. Like, it's just so many different things. Now, when it comes to physical pain manifests from the repression of something. You could go your whole life with being the greatest athlete, and then all of a sudden you go through some type of traumatic trauma. You're not physically injured, but mentally, you could be, maybe you're one of those people who remembers everything, and now at one point in your life you're just like, I don't know what to do. And now you've fallen into a rut, and then now, because your mind has fallen into a rut, now your body has. Now you're not as athletic as you used to be, or you once were. You are, I don't want to say vegetable, but maybe you've gained weight. Maybe you have stopped doing all the fun activities that you love to do as far as athletic wise. Things happen, and it's all because of your mental, which is why, you're supposed to keep your mental very strong. Another one is called GI distress. GI distress is a huge sign of stress. Ulcers can be triggered by stress, which I did not know. Like I said, this is all research. Ulcers can be triggered by stress. Who would have thought that? Like, a whole ulcer. That's something that's definitely physical. Over stress. Stress is a mental state of mind. You get stressed over something that other people do, and that's your reaction to it is stressed out or not feeling good about it. That's like that. I thought that was crazy to read about. Now, another part of that is you can, get autoimmune diseases unexplained out of nowhere. You could go to the doctor and they can say, well, everything here looks fine. You checked out. Everything's perfectly fine. And yet you're still sick. Something's still wrong. Your body's still not what it needs to be. And it can all just be because of your mental state of mind. Oh, look, y'all. The mind is a powerful thing. Okay? The last one is chronic headaches. Now, this one I understood a bit, and at the same time was just like, wow, you know, you could be, you could get so annoyed with somebody, and because you're just so stressed out and so annoyed, you end up getting a headache. It's happened to the best of us. It's happened to me. So I was like, you know what? That's definitely something, and it may not be a past trauma. It could just be something, but it can trigger from a past trauma, is what I'm saying. Now, with the chronic headaches, just holding your head a certain way due to stress, due to certain things happening to you, or you could just be stressed out from a job, you're going to get chronic headaches. And then, going to the doctor, oh, I have a headache every day I go to work, or whatever the case may be. They're going to go ahead and diagnose you with having chronic headaches, provide you with pills, and now you on pills just because of a job. Like, if your job is making you feel that way, that you are so stressed out and is giving you chronic headaches, like, that's not the job for you, boo, like, at all, whatsoever. But those are the key points. Now, I really want to get a little bit deeper into this. When it comes to past trauma, there's a lot of ins and outs of this. So I'm just going to touch on a few key portions of it. Me personally, I feel that when you're dealing with a past trauma, it's as if you are imprisoned in your own mind. Like, something can happen to you and you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. You feel, why did this happen to me? Or what could I have done so this couldn't have happened? Or there should have been something, to do or to stop whatever the situation was. Like, it's so many things that people think about and go through in their heads to try and quote unquote correct the issue, to try to, fix the issue. And it's just like, at a certain point, there's not much to, it's not, how do I want to say this? It's not much to fix. It's just something that you need to, I don't want to say get over, because it's very hard to get over something. And me personally, I really don't like those words when it comes to trauma. Like, oh, well, get over it, or blah, 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 blah. Oh, well, this happened so long ago, or whatever the case may be. When it boils down to it, when you're dealing with a past trauma, when it's in the back of your mind, you don't even know or understand why you're doing certain things. Now, in the video that I'm going to link below, gives a great example of this. They stated that a man would go to this restaurant with his friends, and he hated the restaurant. Didn't know why he hated the restaurant. The restaurant had good food, good service, good drinks. Hated the restaurant. His friends loved the restaurant. It was like the spot to be. You know what I mean? And he would just be ready to go, or he just wouldn't want to go. Go to therapy. Start peeling back them layers. Peeling back them layers. Peeling back them layers. Peeling back them layers like an onion. Come to find out that he had all of this repressed energy for this particular restaurant, because when he was a child, his parents were divorced in that restaurant with him there. They got divorced in public at that restaurant. It could be, like I said, it could be the slightest of things that you don't even realize is a sign of trauma. Like, the man really had to get over his fear of, going into that restaurant, or get over the trauma, or deal with the trauma of going into that restaurant, because that's where his family broke apart. And that's not something that he even remembered at that point in time. Yeah, he knew his parents, or remembered his parents were divorced, whatever the case may be. However, remembering the exact place and location and the exact table. He didn't remember none of that. You know what I mean? Grown man at this point. All this happened when he was a child. Repressed, repressed. And then come to find out he's not, having fun with his friends at their hangout spot because that's where his doomsday was. You know what I mean? It's just so crazy. It's really crazy. Like, really, really crazy. Okay, another example. And I'm going to pull this example from a TV show that we all know and love, SVU. Okay? And yes, I had to do it because I love that show. Now, when it comes to SVU, of course, they're dealing with people who have been through a traumatic event. Most likely a rape, a molestation, things like that. Now, I distinctly remember there being an episode of, girl, she's jogging. She looks happy. She has a whole family. She's jogging. And I can't remember the exact episode and season, so y'all don't get on me in the comments. But if y'all know the answer, y'all can tell me. Y'all can tell me, but don't get on me because I don't remember the exact one. Look, I love me some Benson, but at the same time, I don't remember every single season and episode like some of y'all might. So y'all just let me know which one it was. Okay? This lady, she had a whole family. She was jogging one day and she seen someone playing with a child, and the person that was playing with the child looked like someone that had molested her. And mind you, this was years ago. This lady had gotten over this, quote unquote, has gotten over this traumatic event and incident, and then it just came flooding back to her. So this is one of those moments where it's in the back of your mind. You don't remember every piece of event, and then something triggers that traumatic event. And from that being triggered, you now remember everything. Like, it's just like it floods back to you. It floods back to you in so many different ways. And to hop back off that show, like, when I say this is real, y'all, like, and I know this is a very sensitive subject, but this is real. Like, people go through this stuff. People have to live with this, every day of their lives. There are some people out here in the world who don't know what their next step is, or don't know who they are, who don't love themselves how they're supposed to love themselves because of a traumatic event that has happened in their lives, such as a rape or molestation, or even, their a family member being killed or murdered. Like, it's so many things that trigger people. And us as Black people, we don't talk about trauma or traumatic events enough. We don't talk about from having a traumatic event happen to you, that you can be in that fight or flight mode. That fight or flight mode, y'all, here's the word: anxiety. Black people don't like to admit that there is anxiety. Not all. Let me not say I'm not all. Some. There are people, I'm going to stop saying Black people. There are some people out there who don't like to label themselves as having anxiety or depression because then they think something's wrong with them. Let me tell y'all, I have anxiety. I suffer from depression. I don't just suffer from depression just because I had a baby and then I had post-traumatic depression. My point is, it happens to everyone. But here is the final product. Glad to sit and chat with you guys. Have a good one.